Hello, chismosas y chismosos, and welcome back to Bay Area Housewife of True Crime. We are at part 11 of the Hans Reiser case. As a reminder, topics may be triggering. Viewer and listener discretion is very strongly advised. The people mentioned are innocent until proven guilty in court. Sean said that even though he killed 8.5 people, he did not kill Nina. The DA was no less than flabbergasted by these allegations, which they took very seriously and looked into them thoroughly. They seized Sean's GUNs, searched his Lakeshore condo. They drove to Sean's old home in Kensington. They even flew to Seattle to interview Sean's former pastor. They tracked down Sean's mom and drove to her house nestled by the Russian River in Sonoma County. All confirmed Sean's abuse allegations, but only one of the pastors said that they had heard the story of the serial killings during the summer of 2005. On April 22nd of 2007, the DA met with Rory and Niall's former Russian language teacher, who told them that Rory said, "I am only 7 years old and already my life has been hell. He did it with the white scarf. He hid her in the tiny room." By the fall of 2007, Hans was offered a sweetheart deal. All he had to do was tell everyone where Nina was, what happened to her, and he could plead to voluntary manslaughter and sentenced to just 3 years in prison. Hans stupidly declined the deal, and on October 25th of 2007, a jury of 5 women and 7 men were selected for trial. On November 6th of 2007, at Department 9 of the Renee C. Davidson Courthouse, the trial for the people of the state of California versus Hans Thomas Reiser, case number 154825, before Judge Larry Goodman, commenced. The DA opened with painting a picture of Nina's last moments they knew about up to that point. Paul Hora told the jury about how she bought her Sunday groceries with her kids and dropped them off at their dad's house on September 3rd of 2006, and after that she vanished off the face of the earth. Paul showed them the footage of the Reisers shopping at the Berkeley Bowl. The defense opened by framing Nina as the master of deception, the original Gone Girl, if you will, that could still be alive. She orchestrated a disappearing act to make her estranged husband look guilty. Bill Dubois said that his client was, quote, the victim of a woman whose well-to-do family had ties to the former KGB, and that Nina was a gold-digging mail-order bride who had been seeking an American husband to gain U.S. citizenship. Even projected a picture of a personal Craigslist ad that Nina had viewed. On November 12th of 2007, Rory Reiser took the stand. Rory testified that he used to love his dad. When asked why it was in the past tense, he responded with one word, Nina. Rory said that he had not seen his mom since she vanished, and certainly not in Russia. Wise beyond his years, Rory said, and I quote, "He says he did that for our safety. How can we be safe without our mother? Do you know how we can be safe when all the time he hit us?" End quote. Rory said that Hans told them that Nina was a liar and a Russian spy, to which Rory proudly and very matter-of-factly stated, "She is a doctor." Rory also described a photo which he had drawn that depicted Hans going down the stairs carrying a bag. Rory said that he thought his mom could be in the bag. In a very dramatic moment, Rory got off the stand and onto the courtroom floor and curled up like a ball for all to see. Most witnesses, such as teachers, fellow parents, and those who knew and loved and cared for Nina, echoed the same song during the remainder of the trial, in that Nina would under no circumstances leave her children behind. Bev testified that she and Hans did not help with the searches of Nina because they felt unwelcomed. Anthony Zografos testified that he searched for his missing girlfriend but never saw Hans do so. Next up was Nina's bankruptcy lawyer, who testified that Nina wanted to file for Chapter 7 bankruptcy and that she had an interest in her husband's tech company, but that she did not think there would be anything there for her. On December 12th of 2007, Miss Ellen Doran took the stand. Nina's bestie revealed that she had visited Rory and Nayo in Russia over the summer, July of 2007. Miss Ellen testified that Rory went up to some random U.S. American tourists he noticed were speaking English and asked them if they had seen his mom and if people were still looking for his mom. A renowned Stanford ENT doctor, Peter Koltai, who performed Rory's ear surgery, testified of his experience with the Reiser family. Dr. Koltai told the jury that even though Hans threatened to sue him and was a bully, he performed Rory's adenoidectomy because he was doing what was right, as proven by the fact that after Rory's operation on October 28th of 2005 and removing an adenoid pod equivalent to the size of a Swedish meatball, his ears began to function normally. Hans' judo instructor was up on the hot seat next. Willie Cahill is the owner of Cahill's Judo Academy in San Bruno. He testified that Hans had obtained a black belt in 2004 and that judo, among other things, teaches the art of throwing and choking. Artem Mishin, the same man who Hans sent with Nina to a trip to Russia when she was pregnant with Rory, testified about being with Hans during the cat and mouse game played with the police on September 18th of 2006. As if this was a perfectly good explanation for wasting man hours, Artem said Hans was helping him navigate that day. To his credit, the first iPhone wasn't released until June of 2007, and not everyone had fancy GPS systems at the palm of their hands. He said that as to their detour was because they could not find and decide on a place to eat.